Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm in the hot tunnel. I'm Barbara. Welcome to another Gardener's Journey Homestead. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we have quite the project on our hands. More fall planting. This is the part that I've saved to last. I've been doing little bit by little bit, but today I'm just trying to make a huge amount of progress and get these plants in the ground in this area. Let me turn you around and show you what we're working with. Okay, so this is the area in the hot tunnel on the left hand side where the stuff was in the ground. What we had was 2 rows of black-eyed peas on either end, and then we had the row of tomatoes in the middle, if you remember. So we've taken out all of the plants, except you can see there's a basil down there and a celosia. That's coming up too. We also had cucumber down there as well for a second succession towards the end of the summer. So you can see that I still have some of the vines kind of hanging on from where the black-eyed peas were. I got to clean all that up. It just looks a mess and it bothers me. I know that gardens are not neat all the time, but this just, I don't know, I don't like it. But this is where our greens are going to go, our collard greens, our turnip greens, our kale, just like we did last winter. But I got to get this soil ready. You can see that a lot of the black paper that we put down, I guess a year and a half ago now, a lot of it has been torn up just from yanking the plants out. And so I'm really just taking up the black paper. You can see I already started it some there and just ripped it up. I'm just going to lay some fresh soil and some amendments in this soil all the way down. And then I think I'm going to just cover it with wood chips and mulch before we put the black paper down, or until we can put the black paper down. I think that's what I'm going to do, because there's no sense in me trying to keep it. So that's the project for today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but you can see I just kind of ripped up that black paper. It was very easy. This is the black paper that's really thin that we started with when we started in the hot tunnel, I guess last year. Yeah, last year. So remember, what we put in the outside garden is the heavy duty black paper that you can't just tear. But lesson learned, remember, this is the cheaper stuff and thin, which is why you see it tearing. And it was easy, excuse me, for me to pull up. So I just did that middle row. So I'm gonna start there, and then I'll probably do the rest of the rows. And the only reason I say it could be a mistake, the black paper has been a tremendous help in keeping the weed suppression down. It has been a tremendous help. Y'all know I don't do a lot of weeding in the places where I have black paper. I don't weed hardly in my raised beds. Every now and then I've had very little weeding outside in the garden. Black paper, I'm 100% believer in it. It absolutely works. So that's why I say I don't know if this is a mistake, because I've just pulled it all up in this row. But we're going to amend the soil and get the plants in the ground, and then maybe try to use wood chips to suppress it, just because I know that hubby doesn't have time right now to lay any more black paper down. So I'm not going to even try to bother. But I did take up the basil plant because most of it had flowered. It smells so good. This had not flowered yet, so I'm going to hope and pray that it's still good. I have one last basil plant hanging on right here beside me in the circular herb garden bed that I have. I'm gonna put this in some water when I get home. If you don't know, if you put it in a vase with some water like it's a flower, it'll keep for a few days until I can do something with it. I think I'm gonna make more pesto. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I tried freezing the basil. I did use some frozen basil and some lasagna I made a couple of weeks ago. I didn't like the way it looked. It turned like really, really dark green. It tasted fine, but I didn't like the aesthetics of it. So I'm not with the freezing the basil. And I've heard that when you dehydrate it, it loses a lot of its flavor. So tell me what else y'all do with your basil besides making pesto. Okay, so let's get the soil ready to amend and do this row, and keep our fingers crossed. Okay, y'all, you can see that we got that row done. Hubby came in to help me. So appreciate that. I don't know that I could have done that. Definitely not as quick as he did. So what you saw in the wheelbarrow and him dumping out was the last of some compost that we ordered. I think we ordered it earlier this year, like maybe March or so. And we used it obviously in the outside garden. That was the remainder of it. And it was also some new soil, and it was just all kind of mixed in, kind of together, so to speak. So that's what he laid down. And then you can see where we ran short, the wheelbarrow got empty, which is good. I've been needing the wheelbarrow empty to put stuff in it. We had a bag of compost that I had bought from a local nursery, and we finished the rest of that row. So that's one row done. But of course, as you see, we still have 2 more rows to do. I don't have any more compost right now except what I'm making. Of course, I'm pretty sure I don't have enough to make it for these 2 rows, but we have 1 row done that we can get planted. And also what you saw me put in the soil before he came was I did some earthworm castings and some organic fertilizer. The fertilizer was from Haas Tools. I think it was a 5-4-3 blend, if I'm not mistaken. So I just kind of added that all the way down to the beds. Nothing super scientific. I still haven't quite figured out, you know, when I say how much fertilizer, I probably do less just to err on the safe side. But I don't get too super scientific about it. It's worked out. Let's just pray and hope that it continues to work out. So in this row right here, I think I'm going to go ahead and put in the collard greens and the turnip greens, what we already have started as seedlings, and let's just see how far we get. And that's another thing. I've done these seedlings, but you know, it looks like a lot on the table, but you don't know until you get into the row how many plants you need. And another thing, because we pulled up that black paper, I'm going to be able to get more plants in here because I had spacing for, I don't remember what the first vegetable was, but it was a bigger wide spacing than what I would need for collard greens. So I'll be able to get more in this row than had I left the black paper. So let's see what we have and see how far we get. It may fill up a fourth of a row. It may fill up half the row. It may fill up all the row. But whatever it is, it'll give me a clue as to how much more I need to do. Wow, that was 13 plants, and I made it halfway through the row. Y'all, I need to start some more seeds. I'm thinking I'm doing it. I'm thinking I got a whole lot. Now, to be fair, we did put some in the outside garden. We put, I don't know, maybe there's probably 10 or 15 plants out there, best guess. But I need to start more seeds, a lot more seeds. So that's 13 plants. I spaced them about 12 to 18 inches apart, give or take. So if I had to guess, it is probably going to take at least 8 to 10 more plants to finish this row. So that would give us a total of about 20, 21 plants. And then there's I can probably get 22 easily in this row. But that gives me an idea. And so I'm glad that I'm saying this on video. So if I forget next season, I can know, okay, if I'm going to do 3 rows of collards, I know how many seeds I need to start. And again, I haven't been as planful as I needed to be this fall season just because I've been really busy. So I've been kind of going and starting without a full written documented plan before I started. Sometimes it's like that, but I'm glad that I'm documenting it. So I do have some greens in the soil blocks that we started. So I'm going to go grab those and see how many we have of those, and we'll put them in this row as well. So in this row so far, I did Vates collards. Is a new collard green type that I have never planted before. Vates, V-A-T-E-S. And then there's some turnip greens. So there's 8 Vates and then 5 turnip greens. So let's go see what we have in the soil blocks and we'll plant those. Okay, here are our soil blocks. I did 2 rows of the Georgia South collard greens. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. And I think 8 out of the 10 germinated. So that's 8 right there that we can put in the ground. yeah, that's it of collard greens. So I definitely need to start more of those. Okay, let's get these soil blocks and put those in the ground as well. Okay, friends, that didn't do it. Those 8, I still have room for like 6 more plants in that row. So that would probably be like a total of, let's see, I put in, yeah, that'd probably be like a total of like 27, 28 plants in that row with 12 to 18 inches spacing. I'm going to make more seeds. I have other stuff that I could have put in the row, but this is not something that you have to do. It's just what I want to do. Is I just want that whole row to be collard greens or turnip greens. I think my plan is to do 2 full rows of greens. I think that's what I had last fall, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I had a row and a half. No, I think I had 2 rows. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But I think I had 2 rows. That worked out well in terms of the harvest. I do have some out there in the garden, but that's really a trial. So if I get something, that's even more fantastic, but I'm not counting on that just because I've never done it outside in the fall/winter, and we'll see how it does, but I'm not counting that in my head. So I have 2 rows left on that side. So if I make another row, collards and greens, I can do a row of kale. I think I did a whole row of kale last time, and that worked out great. And then that'll leave me with 2 rows on the other side where the tomatoes were. Hubby is pulling up all the tomatoes that were left. There was only like 2 plants left. And then my peppers are still doing good. So I'll just leave them for right now because I'm not ready to put anything in that row. But that'll leave me with 2 other rows still in here. And then we still have the sweet potato bed. Once the sweet potatoes get harvested, we'll have that bed to put stuff in. So I feel good that we're going to have space for what we need. Right now, I'm about to start some more collard green seeds. Like, yeah, right now, tonight. That's what I'm about to do. Let me find my seeds, and we're about to get to it. Okay, friends, you can see the nighttime has caught me. I got the lights on in the greenhouse, but I got all of my pots filled with the potting soil. So I did not start the seeds, but I will do that first thing tomorrow because all I have to do is wet this and put the seeds in there and I'll be ready to go. So remember I showed you that before, how if you can just plan the night before. So even though I didn't get it done tonight, which is okay, I have all of it planted, all the pots planted with soil. I remembered I need to water this stuff in as well as water some other stuff. So I'm gonna do that real quick before it gets too dark. But it's too dark for me to try to see the seeds and make sure I'm doing the right thing and can see and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for joining me on this episode. If you like what you're seeing on this channel, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. See you next time.